Okay, so let's move on from one blockbuster to another. So, as we all know, there's a little movie coming out this Friday, and it's Fast 10. Fast 10 is one of those franchises that, just like Mission Impossible, it is a huge, huge money draw. And it's made billions and billions and billions of dollars worldwide. Um, I'll be honest with you, I checked out of this franchise a long time ago, but we are going to do the spoiler cast on it. I have not seen any. The last movie I saw, okay, with any Fast and Furious type of um, surroundings or plot or anything like that was, I think, Hobbs and Shaw. So it's been a minute. Um, so I'm very curious to see what kind of what kind of reception this is going to get. So um, so this comes to us from Deadline, and it says Fast 10 to run circles around the world with nearly 300 million opening the box office previews. While it may seem that Fast 10 has run out of excuse me, guys. While it seems that Fast 10 has run out of gas in the States, it's totally turbo boosted overseas in the 10th installment, and the Universal franchise is eyeing an offshore start of 235 million and a 60 plus million-dollar debut. Um, that would get Fast X to 295 million worldwide, making it the third best global start for a Fast and Furious movie after 2017's Fate of the Furious at 541.9 million and 2015's Furious 7 at 397.6 million. And there's nothing to be ashamed about. Despite any smacking of franchise fatigue, it would start it's a start that would beat such movies as Rogue One, a Star Wars story, at 290 million worldwide. That was in 2016. Justice League, 2017, 278.8 million. Excuse me. And the Twilight Saga, New Moon, 274.9 million in 2009. As always, Fast 10 is part of a multicultural appealing crown jewel for Universal and will over-index state with Latino, Hispanic, and Black moviegoers. Taking in the $6 billion franchise higher this week is a launch in 81 offshore markets, including the highly coveted China, as well as South Korea, Mexico, France, the UK, Ireland, Australia, Brazil, and Italy. The pattern is different than 2021's Fast 9, which bowed around the same time of year, but in a staggered pattern. F9 did 235 million in like markets, and at today's rates, including previews and including China, the latter, as ever, is in the swing again this time. China is a huge market for the franchise, but caution prevails. Fast 9 was the first major studio title to be released in the middle of the pandemic and finaled at 128 million, which is adjusted. While Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has recently shown that Hollywood movies are not entirely shunned, there nevertheless has been tepid response in the past several months. Pre-sales on Fast 10 are currently below those of Fast 9. It is leading previews and pre-sales for the coming days, but this is a wait-and-see game. China was the top market for Fast 9 in each of the recent installments, including Hobbs and Shaw. Following it on the last movie were Japan, Mexico, the UK, and Germany. The Toretto family has been out on the road, notably in Rome with the premiere in front of the Colosseum on May 12th, while Jason Momoa flew the flag at a May 13th event in Auckland, New Zealand. The next stop was set for Mexico City. The current international journey for the movie includes starring Vin Diesel, Jason Momoa, Brie Larson, Michelle Rodriguez, and Charlize Theron. Starts Wednesday abroad, with the United States firing up its engines at 2 p.m. on Thursday. The previous film, 2021's F9, did 7.1 million previews. That started at 7 p.m. in what was a market still greasing its wheels after reopening after exhibitors' year-long closure. F9 went to post a $29.8 million Friday and a 3-day total of $70 million, and a 2.4x for a final domestic total of $173 million. Fast X opens at 4,000 theaters, and while the United States Canada start is only being figured around 60 million, it's still the nature of the beast in a franchise that has clocked more than $6 billion since 2001. That opening, though, would be lower than the $75.8 million average debut for the franchise through 9 titles, not counting the spin-offs of Hop and Shaw. Still, it's an amount of cash that to keep theater traffic flowing through May, post-Guardians, and into Disney's likely Memorial Day smash with the live-action The Little Mermaid, which is bound to do $110 million. If not, holy cow, more than a 4-day holiday next week. So where does this leave Guardians of the Galaxy 3 after a great weekend of 48% drop, best for an MCU post-pandemic project? The third weekend for James Gunn's directed threequel is estimated to be down 50% at $31 million after Disney vacuums up all that Pix PDF and IMAX run. Monday's take for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was around $5.1 million, taking its running total for the onset week of week 3 to an estimated $219.4 million. Okay, let's talk about this. So, a couple of things. Number one, I got to be honest. So, I have not seen any of the Fast and Furious movies since Fast 5. That was the last one I saw. So, I'm going into this completely and totally blind. Now, the reason why I don't care for this franchise, it's not because I'm not a car person. I and I'm not an avid, car person in any event. It's the fact that it's a cut, copy, and paste franchise. So you'll have a villain in one film, okay? Then they'll become the good guy, and then they'll go over to the next film, and you'll get a brand new bad guy. And that's what it is. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Okay? There is no real story here. Okay? You're going to watch this for the CGI, the explosions and everything else. And that's cool. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't all have to be about that. But even Mission Impossible, they do one big, and we were just talking about Mission Impossible. They do one big stunt, and that's it. But there's story behind it. You get backstory of all these different characters, and that's important. And the other thing too is you're bringing in way too many people. I mean, the cast alone for this is just insane. Now, I'm not talking about your, Vin Diesels and everything else. I'm talking, you're bringing in, you have people that are, been, there's, okay, I'm going to run down this roster real quick. Okay. It's Vin Diesel, Jordana Brewster, who's been with it the whole time, Tyrese Gibson, of course, Michelle Rodriguez. Now, they're all staples. They've been in the majority, if not all. Okay, Ludacris has been there. Now you have John Cena coming in. Okay, he was in Fast 9. Okay, Jason Statham was a villain in the other one. You've got Rita Moreno. Okay, Helen Mirren. Okay, Brie Larson, who's an Academy Award winner. Okay, Charlize Theron. Michael Rooker, who actually was in Guardians, so this is another big franchise for him. I mean, I, I I'm gonna go into this with a completely open mind. Don't get me wrong. I just so I mean, look, as the piece said, it's made over $6 billion, and that's cool. I'm looking forward to mindless things, and that's cool to turn your mind off for 2 hours and just see what it is. So it's going to be a fun time. But getting back to what I will say, the fact that it's only going to do $60 million opening weekend, that's huge. Huge in the respect of this could have been $100 million opening for it. You have to wonder if you have to wonder if what happened last week with The Rock, well, with what the spoiler was that came out, okay, didn't hurt the box office. So that being said, I think that if Guardians is going to, and by the way, I said Guardians was going to go down by 50%. Okay. It went down to, it's going to go down to about 30 to 31 million. And I said it would. Okay. I don't know. I think what you could see, even if it gets a $16 million, look, Fast 10 is going to win the weekend. There's no doubt about it. I'm not disputing that. I'm wondering if this is going to be closer than people realize. I think Guardians has legs. I really do. So, and mind you, this doesn't come out until the 19th. Okay, so tomorrow's Wednesday. This is coming out this weekend. I'm really curious to see how this does. And in what it does. It will be interesting to see what happens with The Little Mermaid. I mean, if that gets if that's right, and that gets $110 million opening over that weekend, that's huge for that. That's huge. So, but I think the fact that you have this only making $60 million opening weekend, I think it is a problem there. I mean, obviously, it's going to clean up overseas, especially as it said there in China. Okay, it's going to make its money back plus some. And from what I understand and what I've read, okay, there's more to come. So, anyways, guys, what do you think about Fast 10? Are you going to go see Fast 10? Are you a car person? Who's your favorite character in the Fast and Furious franchise? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll get back to everybody.